Let's talk about the 5 key things you need to design your networking event to address to set people up to succeed. In this video series, we've talked about reframing the actual concept of what makes most networking events fail. Many people say, oh, it's just the people. It's a people problem. Reality is it's a design problem. We've talked about ways to approach that. We talked about the initial issue you need to address, which we're going to reiterate in this video, then talked about the most common mistakes, some of the things I have seen over years of doing this, the most common mistakes people make. And then we talked about real world results when you design more effectively and use some of the principles from this concept non-cringey networking I've developed. And today we're going to talk about those 5 things. So the first we've already talked about in an earlier video. The first problem you need to help your audience address is not what to say, what's your one-liner, what's your elevator pitch. Most people fail before they even start when they're so focused on this opening line and delivering this rehearsed line that they're not even paying attention to the person. They're not actually connecting because they're just trying to spout out this rehearsed line and hoping that it has the desired impact. So starting the conversation is not the first problem we need to help our audience address through design. The first problem is helping them deal with the fear of the approach in a non-cringy way, in an authentic way, in a way that helps them move through the 3 levels of connection, which we talked about in a previous video. First is surface. That's when we're just in facts. I've worked here this long. This is my job title. This is the company I work for. Next is personal. That's where we get into the stories and we start to understand not just how they see the world, but how they conceptualize things. And then third, we get into meaning. That's values. That's the deeper thing. That's their goals. That's where we really understand where we can bring value to this person's life. How can we actually bring more of what they're looking for into their lives to build a stronger connection? So when we think about the first thing we want to address, fear of the approach, how do I help them get past that in a way where they start moving into deeper levels of connection without even realizing they're doing it, and already they're having more fun, they're making more connections. And when we kick off our event in that way, all of a sudden it sets the rest of the event up for so much more success because now they've got connections. Now they're not a person alone in the room feeling like, oh, maybe I'm not as good as these other people. Maybe I don't know about networking. Maybe I'm not as good in business. They see there's other humans here. And now instead of feeling alone, they're part of a group. And now they're ready to go further, faster together because now they feel like they're part of something. Also, when you create that experience right out the gate from an event, it is very unique. You don't typically get that. That's the type of thing people keep coming back for year after year after year. Then the next thing we need to address in our design is how to start a conversation. This does not mean the one-liner or your elevator pitch. This means how do you initiate a conversation with another human being in an authentic way that enables you to go to deeper levels. A lot of people think they have to use these scripts and these techniques. And the problem with that is this: scripts and techniques are all designed to get a specific outcome for you, whether or not it's relevant to the person you're talking to. So if you're trying to pitch and sell every person you meet, you could be wasting your breath when they have no need, interest, desire for that thing. And also, as human beings, if someone approaches us and immediately tries to get or take from us, they immediately go into a negative category. We see them as a person who's a taker. We see them as someone who's just trying to get what we've got, and we're not as encouraged to engage with them further after that. So by shifting the focus and starting to say, how do I generate a real conversation, whether or not it gets to business, that is something that is incredibly powerful. Now, at this point, a lot of people go, no, but I need to get business. I need to generate more. I need to grow my business. That's all true. I hear you. Trust me. I understand running my own business, but there are ways to create more business opportunities without forcing a pitch down every person's throat that not only is more authentic, but it's more genuine. It's non-pressure sales. There's no tricks or techniques. And there's ways to do this when you craft properly and you create real human connection. Because you may create a connection that is purely a friendship that could lead to massive amounts of referrals as long as you develop a meaningful relationship first. If you just pitch this person out the gate, you may never talk to them again. But if you build a relationship, not only for the purpose of getting referrals, not only to get business, to actually connect with the human and see where it goes, you'd be amazed what can come off the back end of that. Because generally when you meet someone, you have no idea what exists in their network. Most people look at networking as meeting a bunch of individual people. Think of it this way. In networking, you're meeting that person and potentially anyone in their network that they'd be willing to connect you with. And when you look at it that way, every connection has incredible potential business value. And then there's just the inherent value of connecting with some new amazing person that could be a part of your life. Now that we've helped them start the conversation, the next step is how do they keep the conversation going? The worst thing is to have this great initial spark and then it dies out, or to run out of things to say. So how do we design our activities so we create ample opportunities, almost limitless opportunities for them to continue that conversation? Then after the conversation is continued, how do we move into meaning? How do we make it memorable? How do we create something so that this connection stands out above the rest and you're a person that they want to continue the conversation with at a later date? They want to reconnect with. And the fifth thing that we want to help them with, the final thing, is how to effectively follow up. Many people will network super effectively at the event, have great conversations, great interactions, and they fail in the follow-up. And that's where the relationship really, really grows. Because if you think about your network as a garden, you planted the seed, you watered it the first time, it just started to grow, and then you left it alone. Like a plant, relationships do not grow unless they're tended, unless they're given time and attention. So you need to make sure that you're prioritizing the right people for you and you're pouring into them before you're ever expecting anything back, because that is how networking works. It's not an effective pitch or twisting words or manipulating people. How much are you pouring into this and how much value are bringing them to encourage them to want to continue to engage with you? These shifts can make an incredible difference straight out the gate. Like immediately during an event, people can have that shift and suddenly be more empowered to network, have better ways of doing it, and realize they don't need to rely on cheesy lines or techniques that feel manipulative in order to build an incredible network with people that they love to spend their life with. All of this is why I design non-cringy networking. And if you have a big event coming up, you can apply these techniques yourself. You can use some of the reframes and shifts and share this with your audience. But if this is a big one, if this is critical, if you need it to be a success and you want to make sure you have a professional doing it, that's what I'm here for. So non-cringy networking has been developed into a keynote, a workshop, and there's multiple other facets that I add in based off customer needs. I will customize, I will expand or contract the session based off the time limits allowed. I make sure we stay on time. I make sure we get the results. I make sure people have the shifts and that they know how to continue those results throughout the course of the event, or well above and beyond the event if it's a closing keynote. So if you want your event to be a success, you want to have networking like never before, and you want to empower people to connect, whether introverted or extroverted, experienced or not experienced in networking, give them new tools and techniques to connect like never before. You can find out even more details about non-cringy networking by clicking the link below this video. And that's also where you can find video testimonials from previous clients, more pictures, more details. You can see the actual results it has created. And you can also book an exploratory call that is completely free to explore if I might be the right person to speak at or coordinate your event. I do both virtual and in person. I travel for events. So I'd love to connect with you on a call to talk through it. The call is completely free. And my promise to every client is I will tell you 100% whether or not I'm the right person for the event. And if not, I can refer you to any of the incredible speakers I know in my network. Because my biggest goal and my most important goal is making sure you get the right person for your event to get the right result for your audience. I think when we as speakers and trainers and facilitators put both the booker and the audience's results above everything else, that's when we're doing the best service as speakers. So if you'd like to learn more, click the link below this video, and I cannot wait to speak with you soon.